If your money feels fun, spontaneous, and exciting, that's usually not a good sign. In most cases, it means small, convenient choices are quietly draining it without you really noticing. Most people will chase that feeling through upgrades, little treats, and purchases that feel harmless in the moment. I did that too, and I learned the hard way that excitement and control rarely exist at the same time when it comes to money. The people who actually build real wealth don't treat money like entertainment. They keep it calm, controlled, and honestly a bit boring, without constant impulse buys or emotional spending. Today I want to share the 10 boring, unsexy money habits I have built my life around. No hacks and tricks, just simple routines I repeat over and over again. These habits have saved me tens of thousands of dollars without feeling deprived or extreme. And if your money currently feels messy or unpredictable, this video will show you why boring actually works. But before you change anything, there is one place you need to look at first, and most people avoid it because it's uncomfortable. For me, that place was food, because it's one of the easiest areas to lose control without realizing it. Habit number 1, eating the same meals so food is just handled. I eat more or less the same meals every week. Nothing fancy, a lot of chicken with rice, veggie meals, pastas, and chicken wraps. I also have a few fixed things I eat almost every day, which means food never turns into something I have to think about constantly. What didn't I realize at first was how much mental energy food decisions were taking, especially on busy days. You come home tired, you open the fridge, and suddenly nothing looks appealing. That's the moment when ordering food feels like the easiest option. Not because you really want it, but because you don't want to decide. Structure helped us a lot. On the days I work, my husband handles food, and on the days I don't, I do. That alone removes a daily discussion. Food just happens. We also leave room for enjoyment. About one day a week we get something easy, usually a small takeaway, nothing extreme, around $15 per person, because there is a limit. It still feels like a treat instead of something automatic. I like that food now feels predictable. Groceries are predictable and cooking is so predictable. And because of that, food no longer controls our evening. Habit number 2, actually using what's in the fridge. At some point I stopped guessing and start observing. I literally paid attention to what stayed in our fridge and what disappeared first. Butter, avocado, breads, eggs, those are always gone quickly in our house. Veggies sometimes stay longer. And once I noticed that pattern, shopping and cooking became much easier. Now before I cook, I open the fridge and I look what's already there. I see a lot of vegetables and that becomes the base of my meal. And I don't ask myself what I feel like eating, I look what needs to be used. This completely changed how much food we throw away. Almost nothing gets forgotten in the back of the fridge anymore, and grocery shopping feels intentional instead of random. Habit number 3, using what I own and choosing expensive quality on purpose. This habit developed slowly once I became more aware of how much I already had and how little I actually need to add. When it comes to clothing, I keep things very simple. For example, with jackets, I have one winter jacket and one summer jacket. That's it. I don't add more unless I genuinely notice there is something no longer works for my life. The same goes for shoes. I wore the same Nike Air Max for years. They were comfortable, fit my routine, and did exactly what they needed to do. I didn't replace them until they were truly worn out. What really shifted over time was how I think about spending. I realized I don't want more things, I want better things. And I'm okay for paying more upfront if it clearly improves the quality of life. A good example is our robot vacuum and mop. It's expensive and definitely not a budget purchase, but I choose it very intentionally for the quality and comfort it gives me. It cleans and mops by itself, which saves me a huge of time and energy, and that time matters to me. The same thing happened with our dryer. For a long time I avoided buying one, but once we had it, daily life became easier. Laundry stopped feeling like a constant background task. These purchases aren't flashy, but they quietly make life better, and that's what I want my money to support. Habit number 4, turning coffee into daily ritual at home. Coffee is important to us, so at some point we invested in good coffee machines. It wasn't cheap, but it's something we use every single day. Making coffee in the morning became part of our routine. Grinding the beans, waiting for it to brew, it slows the day down. We buy good quality beans and enjoy coffee at home, and once a week we get a coffee outside. That moment is intentional. We sit down together and talk about goals, plan, and how things are going. I like that coffee at home feels like grounding and coffee outside still feels special. Habit number 5, not buying something just because it's on sale. I used to get excited when I saw something discounted. It felt like I was saving money. But when I really look at my behavior, I realized the discount was often the only reason I was interested, not because I actually needed the item. Just because something on sale doesn't mean you need to buy it. Now I pause and ask myself one simple question. Would I buy this if this wasn't discounted? If the answer is no, I will leave it. That pause alone completely changed how I spend. Habit number 6. Filling time without scrolling or shopping. A lot of unnecessary spending started with scrolling, not because I needed something, but because I was bored, tired, and overstimulated. Instead of forcing myself to stop scrolling, I focused on filling my time differently. We go on walks together, often without phones. That walks naturally turn into conversation about what is going well and what isn't. I also allow myself to try hobbies without pressure to be good at them. The goal isn't productivity, it's simply not default to shopping. Recently, we decided to get a pet, realized we want something in our home that feels alive and grounding. We are adopting a cat we get in February, and that already feels meaningful. Habit number 7, keeping a predictable weekly rhythm. Something I didn't expect was how much a predictable routine affects my spending. Not by control, but by calm. I know which days I work, when we eat at home, when we go out, and when we see family. That structure removes last-minute decisions. And when my life feels chaotic, my spending becomes chaotic too. When my week has a rhythm, everything feels calmer. That predictability gives me something to lean on. Habit 8. Doing less with skincare and sticking to it. I used to think skincare had to be complicated to work. More products, more staff, more effort. At one point, my bedroom was full of creams and serums. I wasn't even sure what was helping anymore. Eventually, I simplified. I use about 5 to 7 products consistently, and I don't replace them until it's completely finished. My skin improved, but more importantly, the routine feels calm. Habit number 9, stopping bulk buying for food. For a long time, I thought buying food in bulk meant I was being smart with money. In reality, I was shopping for a version of myself that didn't exist. Food went bad, things got forgotten, and just didn't work for us. Now I buy food in normal amounts, and I still buy in bulk, but only for things that doesn't expire and that we constantly use. That shift reduces waste, guilt, and unnecessary spending. Habit number 10, dividing my money so it feels clear and calm. What works really for me is dividing my money as soon as it comes in. There is a clear amount for grocery, eating out, and vacation. Everything has a place for the start. I like deciding ahead of time so I don't have to decide in the moment. That removes mental back and forth. Doing the same way every month makes everything feels predictable, calm, and clear. What I have learned is that money doesn't need to feel exciting to work well. It doesn't need to be perfect. It just needs to be consistent. For me, the peace lives in the boring, and that boring approach is what quietly changed everything. If you like this video, please like and subscribe. And if you want to know how I actually built my net worth by doing all of these habits, watch this video.